Hey travelers, another day, another cruise update. Picture this, you've saved, planned, and counted down the days for your dream cruise vacation. Bags packed, family ready, excitement at its peak. But then through no fault of your own, a massive traffic jam stops you dead in your tracks. By the time you finally reach the port, the ship is gone. Frustrating, absolutely. But here's the part that's really going to sting. Carnival Cruise Line says you're not getting a refund, not a partial refund, not future cruise credit, nothing at all. This is exactly what happened to a group of passengers recently, sparking outrage and debate among cruise travelers everywhere. Their only crime was arriving late to the port due to circumstances they couldn't control. Yet, Carnival's strict no refunds boarding policy left them empty-handed and off the ship. So, why won't Carnival make an exception? Is this just corporate rigidity, or are there actual laws and policies that back up their stance? And most importantly, what can you do to avoid ending up in the same situation? In this video, we'll break down exactly what happened, what Carnival's policy says, and the steps you can take right now to protect your cruise investment before your vacation becomes a nightmare. The story starts with a family traveling to the port of Galveston, Texas to board the Carnival Breeze. Their cruise was set to depart at 3:30 p.m. and like many travelers, they had planned their arrival for the early afternoon. But what they didn't plan for was a massive, unexpected traffic jam. According to local reports, a major accident had occurred on the primary highway leading to the port, causing gridlock for miles. Cars were at a standstill, and alternative routes were jammed as well. The family, along with several other cruise passengers, watched the clock tick closer to departure with no way to move faster. By the time they reached the terminal, it was too late. Security staff informed them that boarding had closed and the gangway was sealed. The ship was still docked, but U.S. Coast Guard regulations and cruise line policies require final boarding well before actual departure for safety and immigration checks. Once that window closes, no exceptions are made. The passengers pleaded with staff, explaining that the delay was completely beyond their control. They weren't asking for special treatment, just some understanding and, ideally, a refund or at least future cruise credit. But Carnival's position was firm. The cruise contract clearly states that passengers are responsible for arriving at the embarkation point on time, regardless of external delays. This left the family stranded at the port with their luggage and no vacation. They had to make last-minute arrangements for lodging, food, and transportation home, all while absorbing the financial loss of their cruise fare. For many, this raises a painful question. Shouldn't there be some flexibility for situations that are truly unavoidable? If a traffic accident or natural disaster makes you late, is it fair to lose your entire trip and investment? The debate is gaining traction in online cruise forums, with some defending Carnival's strict stance as necessary for operational efficiency, while others argue that it's an outdated, customer-unfriendly policy that needs a serious rethink. And this is where we move from the emotional side of the story into the legal and contractual framework, because Carnival's reasoning isn't just about company policy. It's also about compliance with federal requirements. When emotions are running high, it's easy to assume that a cruise line is simply being cold or inflexible. But in this case, Carnival's no-refund stance isn't just about corporate policy, it's backed by both federal requirements and the fine print in every passenger's contract. Let's start with the legal side. U.S. Coast Guard and Customs regulations require that all passengers be checked in, screened, and on board well before the ship's scheduled departure time. This isn't optional. The boarding cutoff time, often 90 minutes before departure, is set to allow for final passenger counts, safety briefings, and compliance with immigration laws. Once that cutoff passes, the ship's manifest is locked. If even one late passenger were added, it could trigger delays and re-clearance processes for the entire ship. Carnival's cruise ticket contract makes this responsibility crystal clear. It states that guests are required to be on board no later than the published final boarding time, and that missing this deadline regardless of the reason results in forfeiting the cruise fare. The contract even lists examples of non-refundable causes, such as traffic delays, flight cancellations, or weather disruptions. From Carnival's perspective, if exceptions were made for some passengers, it would open the door to constant disputes. Imagine multiple guests arriving late and each insisting the reason was valid. Holding the ship or processing late arrivals could disrupt schedules, affect port arrival times, and even risk fines. Still, while the policy is logical from an operational standpoint, it's not winning points in the court of public opinion. Many travelers argue that a simple future cruise credit could balance customer goodwill with operational needs. After all, the cruise line already has the fare, they're not losing money by offering a voucher. But Carnival, like many other lines, sticks sticks to the principle that passengers are responsible for getting to the port on time, no matter what. The unstated message: plan for the unexpected, because the company will not bend the rules. And that's where travel insurance comes into play, because if the cruise line will protect you in these situations, you need another layer of protection that will. If there's one clear takeaway from this situation, it's this: cruise lines aren't in the business of absorbing your losses. That's where travel insurance becomes more than just an optional add-on, it's a safety net. In cases like the family stuck in Galveston traffic, a comprehensive travel insurance policy could have covered a significant portion, if not all, of their missed trip expenses. Many policies include misconnection or trip interruption coverage, which reimburses you if you can't make it to your departure point on time due to reasons outside your control, like road accidents, extreme weather, or mechanical breakdowns. Here's the important part: not all insurance is created equal. Some basic policies focus on medical emergencies and lost luggage, but don't cover missed departures. You have to read the fine print and confirm that common carrier delays or traffic accidents are specifically included. It costs usually a small percentage of your total trip price. For a $2,000 cruise, comprehensive coverage might be around $150, $200. That's a relatively small investment compared to losing the entire fare. Of course, timing matters too. Most insurers require you to purchase coverage soon after booking, often within 14 days, to get the broadest benefits. Wait too long, and certain protections may be excluded. Travel insurance doesn't just protect against missed cruises, it can also cover last-minute medical emergencies, trip cancellations for covered reasons, and even extra hotel nights or flights needed to catch up with your ship at its next port. In short, if the cruise line won't bend the rules, your best defense is to make sure you have your own backup plan in place. Now, I want to hear from you. If you are in this family's shoes missing your cruise because of a traffic jam, how should Carnival have handled it? A. Offer a full refund or future cruise credit, even if the policy says no. B. Stick to the rules. Guests are responsible for arriving on time, no matter what. C. Meet halfway, no cash refund, but provide a partial credit as a goodwill gesture. Drop your answer in the comments with the letter A, B, or C, and tell us why. I'll feature some of your responses in an upcoming video. Missing a cruise is devastating, especially when it's something you've planned for months, saved for, and looked forward to. But as this Carnival case shows, once the boarding gate closes, your options are extremely limited. The cruise line's position is clear: your arrival time is your responsibility, no matter what obstacles you face. And while that might feel harsh, it's rooted in strict regulations and operational realities. The ship has to leave on time. That's why, as travelers, the best defense is preparation. That means building in extra travel time, arriving in your departure city a day early when possible, and investing in a strong travel insurance policy that covers misconnections. It's not the most exciting part of vacation planning, but it's the one that could save you thousands of dollars in endless frustration. Carnival's policy isn't likely to change anytime soon, and they're not alone. Most cruise lines operate the same way. So, the responsibility really does fall on us as passengers to plan for the unexpected. What do you think? Should cruise lines be more flexible, or is this a necessary hard line to keep operations running smoothly? Let me know below, and remember to subscribe for more cruise news and tips, because your dream vacation should never sink before it even begins.